Live from New Delhi, you're watching Read India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Israel receives bodies of 2 hostages from Gaza. Identification process underway. Netanyahu warns Gaza conflict not over until Hamas disarms. Pakistan and Afghanistan agree to immediate ceasefire at Doha mediated talks after deadly cross-border clashes. No Kings protests erupt across US as thousands rally against Trump administration's policies on immigration, education and security. Demonstrations also in Canada and Europe. In Sports, India to face Australia in the first ODI at Perth. All eyes on Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli as both set to return after 7 months. And the holy city of Ayodhya gears up to celebrate the grand Deepotsav on the banks of Saryu River, marking the homecoming of Lord Ram. Israel has received the remains of 2 hostages from Gaza via the Red Cross as the fragile ceasefire teeters on the edge of collapse. The bodies, transferred late Friday by Hamas, are undergoing forensic identification at Abu Kabir Institute. Preliminary reports suggest they belong to 28-year-old Inbar Hayman from central Israel and 39-year-old Mohammad al-Atrish, a Bedouin soldier from Negev. Both were killed during the October 7, 2023 Hamas attack. This handover brings the total deceased hostages returned to 12 out of 28 agreed upon in last week's US broker deal. Hamas claims it has exhausted accessible sites but needs specialized equipment to recover the rest amid Gaza's rubble-strewn ruins. Israeli officials dispute this, alleging the group holds more remains and is delaying to evade disarmament. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned on Saturday that the conflict is not over until Hamas fully disarms and all hostages are returned. Netanyahu, in a late-night Israeli Channel 14 address, reaffirmed Israel's readiness to resume military action if ceasefire terms fail, mirroring Trump's stance. Families mourn amid hope and fury, with vigils lighting up Tel Aviv. Mediators urge patience, estimating weeks for full recovery, but public pressure mounts for phase 2, which involves permanent truce and governance overhaul. Now, the Rafah border crossing between Gaza and Egypt will remain closed until further notice. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office announced on Saturday, dashing hopes for its Monday reopening. The decision hinges on Hamas fully complying with ceasefire terms, particularly handing over the remains of all 28 deceased hostages. Only 12 have been returned so far, including 2 more late Saturday via the Red Cross. This comes after the Palestinian embassy in Cairo announced the crossing's planned reopening for Gazans returning from Egypt, but Israel refuted it swiftly, citing security and truce integrity. The US broker ceasefire, effective since October 10, mandates increased aid flows and reconstruction aid trucks queue on Egypt's side, but entry is rerouted through Israeli-controlled Kerem Shalom, averaging 560 tons daily. UN officials warn of malnutrition deaths exceeding 400, urging mediators to expedite. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared Saturday he will seek re-election in November 2026 vote, confidently predicting a win despite mounting scrutiny over the Gaza war. In a Channel 14 interview, the veteran Likud leader, Israel's longest-serving PM with over 18 years in power, dismissed calls to step down after October 7, 2023 Hamas attack that killed 1,200 and sparked the conflict. Latest updates show Netanyahu's approval hovering at 32% as per a Sunday Channel 12 poll, buoyed by US President Trump's endorsement but battered by hostage families' fury and judicial overhaul backlash. Opposition leader Yair Lapid branded the government illegitimate, demanding snap polls. Netanyahu ties his bid to victory against Hamas, including disarmament, as protests swell and ICC probes intensify. Now, Afghanistan and Pakistan have agreed on an immediate ceasefire following high-level talks in Doha, Qatar's foreign ministry announced on Sunday. Mediated by Qatar and Turkey, the Saturday negotiations led by Pakistan's Defence Minister Khwaja Asif and Afghanistan's Mullah Muhammad Yaqub aimed to end a week of deadly clashes along their 2,600-kilometer border, the worst since the Taliban's 2021 takeover. The violence, triggered by Islamabad's demands for Kabul to curb cross-border militants, killed over 50 and wounded hundreds, including civilians. A 48-hour truce extended Friday, held despite alleged Pakistani airstrikes in Paktika province, which Kabul decried as violations. Both sides pledged follow-up meetings to sustain the ceasefire, establish verification mechanisms and foster lasting peace. All right, shifting focus now. Millions of people took to the streets across U.S. on Saturday in No Kings marches opposing President Trump, with demonstrations unfolding in more than 2,500 cities across all 50 states and several European capitals. Protesters in Washington, D.C. gathered near the National Mall to protest against Trump's policies. "This is what democracy looks like," chanted thousands near the U.S. Capitol, where the federal government was shut down for a third week amid a legislative deadlock. In New York City, over 100,000 demonstrators marched across 5 boroughs. Colorful and clever signs called on people to protect democracy, while others demanded the country abolish the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency at the center of Trump's anti-immigrant crackdown. In Chicago, demonstrators filled the streets as Donald Trump's administration asked the U.S. Supreme Court on Friday to allow his deployment of National Guard troops to Illinois, as the Republican president moves to dispatch military personnel to a growing number of Democratic-led locals and expand the use of the armed forces for domestic purposes. Protesters spanning all age groups took to the streets in Seattle for No Kings rallies, denouncing what they view as authoritarian tendencies and unbridled corruption of President Trump. Protesters also rallied in Atlanta, denouncing Trump with a No Kings message amid accusations of authoritarianism and threats to democracy. Prominent Democrats, including Sen. Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, as well as Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, joined protesters in several cities, framing the day's marches as a defense of democracy and civil liberties. As cities across the U.S. host No Kings rallies, anti-Trump demonstrators also gathered near the U.S. consulate in Toronto on Saturday for the No Tyrants protest. Some 300 protesters held signs and dressed up in costumes as they spoke out against what participants view as President Trump's autocratic tendencies and anti-democratic actions. In Germany, protesters gathered in Berlin on Saturday to participate in a No Kings event opposing U.S. President Trump's policies. The demonstration, part of a broader global mobilization, featured attendees holding signs, wearing costumes and waving flags. Berlin participants emphasized the international significance of the protest. At Camp Pendleton, U.S. Vice President James David Vance joined thousands of Marines and their families to mark the 250th anniversary of the United States Marine Corps. The Vice President laid a wreath at the Marine Corps Monument, paid tribute to fallen soldiers and praised the force's legacy of courage and discipline. The event featured a parade, flypast and a reenactment of historic battles celebrating 2.5 centuries of service to the nation. Moving on, U.S. President Donald Trump announced on Saturday that 2 suspected drug traffickers from a U.S. military strike on a fentanyl-laden drug-carrying submarine in the Caribbean are being repatriated to Ecuador and Colombia for prosecution. After the attack killed 2 others, the Thursday drone strike, the 6th in September, targeted a semi-submersible vessel on a narco-trafficking route near Venezuela, which Trump claimed held enough drugs to kill 25,000 Americans. Colombian President Gustavo Petro confirmed receipt of the national on X social media platform, while Ecuador's government expressed unawareness of plans but welcomed cooperation. The Pentagon released black and white strike footage Saturday amid a U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean. 6,500 troops, destroyers, F-35s and a nuclear sub escalating tensions with Venezuela's Maduro, who decreed sovereignty violations. Now, Japan's Liberal Democratic Party and the right-leaning Japan Innovation Party, ISHIN, have agreed to form a coalition government, Kyodo News reported on Sunday, bolstering LDP leader Sane Takaichi's bid to become the country's first female prime minister. The pact finalized after intense policy talks, including ISHIN's support for Takaichi in Tuesday's parliamentary vote, though no initial cabinet post for ISHIN. The alliance follows Komieto's abrupt exit from the 26-year LDP coalition last week, triggered by scandals and election losses. The LDP pledges to pursue zero consumption tax on food and ban corporate donations, aligning with ISHIN's reform agenda. Opposition CDP, rebuffed by ISHIN, nominated Yoshihiko Noda as its PM candidate, vowing to challenge the bloc. Markets rallied 1.2% on stability hopes, but critics decry the shift towards hawkish policies on security and constitutional reform. Takaichi eyes swift confirmation amid global trade tensions. Let's now take a look at other stories making news across the globe. Ajaccio in Corsica has unveiled Angelo, a brand new urban cable car aimed at easing traffic congestion. The 12-minute ride connects the city entrance to the Mezzavia district, though public opinion remains divided despite the project's swift 18-month completion. Turkey's Ayavlik district is hosting its 20th International Olive Harvest and Tourism Festival. The festival highlights the cultural and economic importance of olive production in the region and offers visitors a chance to experience local products and olive culture. The monumental Alberish Parade, a colorful procession of massive papier-mâché folk art sculptures, was held in Mexico City on Saturday. The annual event, organized by the Museo de Art Popular, celebrates Mexican arts and crafts. It serves as a prelude to the Day of the Dead festivities. And in Peru, thousands of Peruvian Catholic worshippers, many dressed in purple robes, followed the Lord of Miracles procession, winding through the downtown streets of the capital city of Lima on Saturday. The event was joined by the country's newly elected president, Jose Ijeri. Time now for a very short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India Live. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh warns Pakistan, says Operation Sindoor, a trailer, BrahMos can reach all of Pakistan. In sports, India look to bounce back in Women's World Cup as they face England in a crucial encounter. And India gears up for Diwali celebration as the country is all set to celebrate the Festival of Lights. back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. In a stern warning to Pakistan, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said that every inch of the neighbouring country's territory lies within the range of BrahMos, and what happened during Operation Sindoor was just a trailer. Rajnath Singh described BrahMos as a symbol of India's rising strength and a proof of its strategic confidence. DD India's Raghav Jha has more in this report.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on Saturday warned Pakistan, saying every inch of India's neighbour lies within the range of BrahMos missiles, even as he praised Operation Sindoor and called it merely a trailer. Defence Minister's remarks came as he and Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath flagged off the first batch of indigenously produced BrahMos missiles in Lucknow's aerospace facility.
देश को यह विश्वास है कि हमारे जो विरोधी हैं, एडवर्सरीज हैं, अब ब्रह्मोस से बच नहीं पाएंगे। यह देश को पूरा भरोसा है। पाकिस्तान की जहां तक बात है, तो अब उसकी एक-एक इंच जमीन हमारी ब्रह्मोस की पहुंच में है।
Defence Minister asserted that India's defence capabilities now serve as a powerful deterrent. He said BrahMos is not just a missile, but a symbol of country's growing indigenous capabilities.
ब्रह्मोस सिर्फ एक मिसाइल नहीं है, बल्कि वह भारत की बढ़ती हुई स्वदेशी क्षमताओं का यह प्रतीक है। एक तरफ इसमें ट्रेडिशनल वारहेड हैं, एडवांस गाइडेड सिस्टम्स हैं, तो दूसरी तरफ यह सुपरसोनिक गति से लंबी दूरी तक मार कर सकता है।
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said the country is making its mark in the defence manufacturing sector, and many countries are now interested in technical association with India. He said that recently BrahMos team has signed contract with two countries worth 4,000 crore rupees. BrahMos has a traditional warhead, an advanced guided system, and can strike up to 290 kilometers with supersonic speed throughout the flight, thus ensuring shorter flight time and lower dispersion of targets, faster engagement time, and non-interception by any known weapon system in the world. The combination of speed, accuracy and power makes BrahMos one of the world's best systems. Raghav Kumar Jha reports for DD India.
And the holy city of Ayodhya glows with divine fervour as Deepotsav 2025 preparations are at peak, aiming for a Guinness record with over 2.6 million diyas across 56 banks of river Saryu. Themed Ayodhya, city of light and devotion, the city dazzles with LED displays and lamp-shaped illuminations along the Rampath, Janmabhoomi Path and Hanumangarhi Marg. Guided by Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, 33,000 volunteers will craft a radiant spectacle with an 80,000 diya rangoli and virtual diya lighting via Divya Ayodhya app. Last year's 25 lakh diyas lit the holy city, while this year's glow aims to further elevate faith, culture and tourism, drawing millions. A major attraction this year will be a 32 feet tall Pushpak Viman at Ram Ki Paidi, showcasing scenes from Ramayana and giving visitors a vivid experience of the epic. Moving on, India's Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnav inspected New Delhi railway station on Saturday to review passenger arrangements during the festive season. He said that the station saw a record footfall of around 75,000 passengers. Enhanced facilities like expanded holding areas, additional toilets and more ticket counters have improved passenger movement and security, allowing only ticketed passengers the entry.
करीब 75,000 पैसेंजर्स आज आए न्यू दिल्ली स्टेशन पे, और ये जो बहुत बड़ा होल्डिंग एरिया बनाया है और जो लार्ज नंबर ऑफ टॉयलेट्स, लार्ज नंबर ऑफ टिकट काउंटर्स और पैसेंजर्स को बेसिकली बाहर लेके आए हैं, प्लेटफॉर्म से बाहर कंप्लीट ये एरिया बनाया है, इसका अच्छा बेनिफिट मिल रहा है। आप अगर देखेंगे तो बहुत ही सिस्टमेटिक तरीके से पैसेंजर्स का इसमें मूवमेंट है और बिना टिकट लिए कोई अंदर नहीं जा पाता है, तो इसका अच्छा बेनिफिट मिल रहा है।
Dhanteras was celebrated with great enthusiasm across the country as people stepped out in large numbers to shop, decorate and perform traditional rituals. From glittering gold purchases to vibrant markets and spiritual gatherings, the day marked the perfect beginning to the Diwali festivities. Shoppers thronged the streets and marketplaces looking for the perfect Diwali gifts, shimmering lights, gold and silver. Decorative lights and vibrant designs are flying off the shelves, with many preferring Indian-made products this year, praised for both quality and affordability. From decorated stadiums lit with thousands of candles to traditional rituals in temples, the festive mood is unmatched. Sellers are optimistic and buyers are enthusiastic, making this Dhanteras a beautiful blend of devotion, sparkle and celebration. On Dhanteras, to raise environmental awareness this Diwali, the Maharashtra Pollution Control Board screened a special video at Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus, urged citizens to celebrate a cleaner, greener festival by reducing firecracker use and embracing eco-friendly practices. All right, sports updates now. India face Australia in the first ODI at Perth today, and all eyes are on Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli making their return. New captain Shubman Gill leads a strong and balanced side while Australia look to rebuild. Can India's legends shine again, or will the hosts break their Perth jinx? DD India correspondent Narayan Singh brings more on this.
All eyes are on Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma as Team India gears up to face Australia in the first ODI at the Optus Stadium in Perth on Sunday. Yes, the legends are back after leading India to a memorable Champions Trophy win earlier this year. Both Kohli and Rohit returned to international cricket, but this time under a new captain. Young Shubman Gill takes charge as India's new ODI skipper, stepping into big shoes and leading a team that's now looking ahead to the 2027 ODI World Cup. For him, this series is about shaping the future, but for Kohli and Rohit, it could be one last dance down under. Having retired from the Test and T20s, their form and fitness in this series will be crucial. And remember, both have a superb record under down under. India will miss Jasprit Bumrah, who has been rested for the T20 series after the ODI series, but that opens the door for young quicks Harshit Rana and Nitish Kumar Reddy to shine. Mohammad Siraj is back after a year, while Hardik Pandya out with injury. KL Rahul and Dhruv Jurid are the wicket-keeping option for Team India, while Yashasvi Jaiswal and Shreyas Iyer bring in solid batting form. Now talking about Australia, they are going through a rebuilding phase with Steve Smith, Glenn Maxwell and Marcus Stoinis retired from ODIs. The Aussies have lost their last series, managed just 2 wins in their last 10 matches. India, on the other hand, are flying high. Champions Trophy winners, unbeaten in their last 8 ODIs, and currently the #1 team in the world. Their last ODI defeat came more than a year ago, and that is Perth. India never played an ODI here, and surprisingly, Australia have never won at this ground, losing all 3 matches so far. Fast bowlers dominate this venue, so expect plenty of pace and bounce under the lights. So it's all set. A fresh chapter in the India-Australia rivalry, a young captain leading a powerhouse team, 2 legends chasing one big moment, and a ground where anything can happen. Can India extend their dominance, or will Australia finally break the Perth jinx? We will find out on Sunday when India and Australia go head-to-head in what promises to be a cracking contest.
And after 2 losses, the Indian women's cricket team are in a tricky position in the ongoing ICC Women's ODI World Cup 2025. With 2 wins and 2 losses in 4 games, the upcoming clash against a strong England side is a must-win for the women in blue to keep their semi-final hopes alive. The team needs to get back to winning ways, and a victory in this game will be a big, huge morale booster. Here's more.
In what could be a crucial encounter with the decisive power of steering India into the semi-final of the ongoing Women's Cricket World Cup, Team India is now all set to face Team England at Indore's Holkar Stadium on the eve of Diwali in the ODI format. Team England remains unbeaten so far, with one match being abandoned due to rain, whereas Team India started on a good note, beating Sri Lanka and then Pakistan, but eventually lost to South Africa and then Australia in the league stage encounters so far.
हम लोग 2 मैच हारे ज़रूर हैं, लेकिन हम लोगों का मोरल काफ़ी अच्छा है, क्योंकि 2 मैच हम लोगों ने स्टार्टिंग के काफ़ी अच्छे गए थे। तो हम लोग ऑलवेज़ पॉजिटिव माइंडसेट से जाते हैं और हमेशा पॉजिटिव जो भी हमने एज अ टीम किया हुआ होता है उसके बारे में ज़्यादा फोकस करते हैं।
If we look at the head-to-head, India women and England women played 129 international matches across all formats, out of which India women won 50 matches against England women, whereas England won 66 out of 129 matches. In the ODI format, India and England have played 79 matches, out of which India won 36 and England secured victory in 41 matches, with 2 ending in no result. The high voltage clash between India and England is now all set to take place at the iconic Holkar Stadium situated in Indore, which has the potential of turning out to be a high scoring game. The Holkar Stadium is known for its flat pitch surface that allows for high scoring matches at the venue. Batters enjoy batting on a surface with even bounce, a fast outfield, and shorter boundaries, which makes it good for scoring some quick runs. While Team England boasts a formidable unit led by Nat Skiver Brunt, Sophie Ecclestone, and Charlie Dean, on the other hand, Team India's Smriti Mandhana, Deepti Sharma, and Sneh Rana can really prove to be the guns to rely on under big match pressure, as batting deep remains the key to unlock a semi final spot. The top run scorer for India women in the ICC Women's World Cup 2025 is Pratika Rawal with 180 runs to her name, and she is just 18 runs away from reaching 1,000 runs in Women's ODI. The top wicket taker for India women in the ICC Women's World Cup 2025 is Deepti Sharma with 9 scalps under her belt, is just a wicket away from creating a record of 150 wickets mark in ODI format and become the second Indian bowler to do so.
In run-up to the semi-final spot, this match becomes really crucial for Team India because it is not only about defeating Team England but also about securing a spot in the semi-finals of the ongoing Women's Cricket World Cup. Whether Team India will add that 6th bowling option and how the batting and the bowling unit are going to perform and roar specifically against Team England at this particular pitch remains to be seen. We'll get you all the latest news updates, stats and facts straight from ground zero. With camera person Ashish, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from Indore.
And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.